Hey guys, it's Mayhem here. Hope you're having a good day. So kind of outside of what I normally talk about, but since my channel got deleted, I kind of wanted to talk about this. And I had made a video a while ago, and posted it on another channel, just because the state that I live in, there had been so many just contrary talks, and with the beer flu, people are just being idiotic, and they wonder why we don't trust the government, and they wonder why we don't want to wear masks. And maybe you want to wear a mask. I really could care less. My life has been disrupted enough with all this crap that I'm to the point that I'm just tired of it all. And if you're not in the same boat as me, fine. You don't have to listen to my video. But, they wonder why I don't want to wear a mask. They wonder why social distancing is stupid. It's just pure idiotic. And, the example that I'll use yet again is I had an iPhone 6S that I found it cleaning out some stuff. And I was like, well, I might as well go sell it. And so I went to Walmart, which I can't stand Walmart, but I went to Walmart because they have one of those little kiosks. So I put on my stupid face covering, which is a neck gaiter, which is the least effective other than a bandana for stopping. Well, they're all anyway. So I go there. So I have to stand outside the door and let the person in front of me get 6 feet away from me before that I can enter, because I need to keep 6 feet away from me, even though I'm wearing a stupid mask. And this isn't a rant about the idiocracy or the idiocy of masks. This is a rant about the idiocy of the CDC and Fauci. So CDC says 94% of all Americans who have died of COVID-19 have had at least one other underlying disease. So very confusing to people. So I'm not a doctor. I know a lot of doctors. I know a couple dermatologists, dentists as well. But you die basically when blood stops pumping to your brain, for the most part. That's death, and maybe that's too simplistic. So what the CDC said is that 94% of all Americans who have died had more than one problem. So fine, that caused a lot of problems. Twitter started deleting people's tweets that were saying that there was only 6% death rate. All of these are true statements. So fine, and we'll get into that here in a second, but it's still kind of annoying. So today, our genius Fauci says, well, the CDC isn't being totally honest. So now the head of the health organization, or whatever the hell Fauci does, is now contradicting the CDC, who oftentimes contradicts the WHO. So we've got all of these quote unquote health professionals telling us contrary information, which causes people to be confused, and we don't know who to believe. And my philosophy is, if you've got two pieces of contradictory information, then you throw both out and you just do whatever the hell you want to do, for the most part. And that's very, very broad brush. But so Fauci saying that, well, no, the CDC isn't true. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to go to the CDC website. So I went to the CDC website, which anybody can go to, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And I went to looking at basically the information. So I opened it in a new tab because I'm cool like that. So I started going through this. And if you're not a numbers nerd, and I tend to lean a little analytic, so I started looking through this stuff. And the more that I look through it, it's just how stupid all of this has been. And it's just point after point after point after point of just pure idiocy. So as I go through this, you can look at it too, but basically what they're saying is there's 327 million people in the U.S. Okay. Of that, the people that have died, all deaths involving COVID or corona. This is the number. So as you get down to here, so if you're under the age of 24, that's 308, that's 320, that's 337 people have died. And we're fighting about going back to school. But mayhem, what about the teachers? Okay, so that's another 40 558 that are added to the people that have died. That's even in the rounding error percentile problem. So going back to school, you're not going to die from corona, or it's just idiocy. Anyway, if you're a guy, you're going to die more likely than a woman. Great. So then we look at this, which who cares? So then I looked at this because I thought this was interesting. So of the people that have died, 105,000 of them have died in healthcare setting inpatient. So I'm assuming that's a hospital. Healthcare setting outpatient or emergency room, which, okay, it doesn't make sense. Healthcare setting dead on arrival, so they died on the way, which aggressive coronavirus will kill people in the ambulance apparently. Where you lived, a hospice facility, and then nursing home, long-term care facility. And this is the whole investigation that is being done to wonderful Cuomo in New York because various reasons. But I would think that if you looked at, and there's probably in here somewhere by state, the number of people that died. But this is the comorbidity stuff. And basically what comorbidity means is that what are the underlying reasons why your brain stopped getting oxygen and your heart stopped pumping. I couldn't find the 6% because I'm not a doctor. I don't know any of these things. I do know the J codes are for hospitals to get paid, which was part of my other video that I did because I looked at the J codes. The J codes and the U codes were how the government gives these hospitals money for all the COVID things, which if you haven't heard about that, it's a very interesting story. But it's just one of those things that if you say that they died from COVID, you get 3 or 4 times as much money as if they didn't die from COVID. But what they're saying is that of the 161,000 people that died from the Rona, this was what they presented with outside of the virus. And if you look at it over here on the 55 and up, I'm going to do very rough math because I'm doing it in my head. That's 50, that's 90, that's 140,000. So 140,000 out of 160,000 were 55 and older. Yet again, another reason why go back to school. But looking at the comorbidities, you're looking at influenza and pneumonia. 68,000 people died from it. Respiratory failure, 54,000. And to me, this is one of those things that, from my understanding, the Rona is an upper and lower respiratory disease. So to say that you had this means that you had a pre-existing condition. So that means you had a history of this stuff. So it's interesting to me. But one of the things that has been called out, and like I said, I can't find the 6% call out, so this is basically what people have said they've died from, which, like I said, if you're interested, great. If not, I totally understand. Diabetes killed almost 26,000 people. Unspecified dementia and vascular, that's almost another 20,000 people. This one is the one that should be causing a lot of people pause, even though it's only 5,100. It's a small percentage. I think that's, about 2%. Intentional or unintentional injury, poisoning, and other adverse events. That's counted in our total. So if you killed yourself, if you were in a motorcycle accident, if you were poisoned, if you had corona in you, you're counted in this. So the question is, to be controversial, George Floyd had corona. Is he in this number? No idea. But it's skewing the data. All other conditions and causes. So excessive deaths, whatever. So like I said, this is on the CDC if you want to go get it. But, the fact that Fauci came out today denying that he's basically saying the information the CDC is giving us is wrong. So the 180,000 plus deaths in the U.S. contradicts even what the CDC's website is saying, which is 164,000. So that's a 16,000 delta on deaths, which in the big scheme of things is important because that gives you percentages. And when you look at percentages, that's how you figure out health crises is based on percentages. And it's just one of those things. And as I said at the beginning, this is not, a video other than me frustrated that I have to make a reservation to go to my gym at 4:30 in the morning and that I have to wear a mask whenever I go out and do anything. And it's just, once again, whatever your stance is, information is information and data is data. And we're all, well, yes, we're all adults, or at least I will tag this as adult only in the U.S. And there's this little piece of paper called the Constitution that gives us our rights. There's the Bill of Rights, and if you actually read the Federalist Papers, you can find out more about your rights. But if I don't want to wear a mask and if I want to go make out with somebody that's got the rona and get sick, that's my right. And I have actually said that I would prefer to get it because I want to build up an immunity to it because it's in the wild. It's always going to be out there. We're never going to stamp it out. We're not going to get a vaccine. But I would rather get it and die than put up with the crap that I'm putting up with now because the economy is going to crash. Who knows what's going to happen in the next few months, but it's not going to be pretty based on the data that I've seen. So, like I said, I'm just tired of the lies. And if you want us to believe Fauci, fine. Then the CDC needs to run everything through Fauci, and Fauci can scrub it before it's given out to the general public. If you want us to believe the CDC, then you need to tell Fauci and the WHO to run all their information through the CDC so that we're at least getting a consistent story. Because inconsistency is what causes human brains to start going, this is a puzzle that needs to be solved. When the human brain has a puzzle that needs to be solved and there's no apparent bad guy, then conspiracy theories arise. And that's what's happening. Everybody's doubting everybody, and it's just one giant conspiracy theory. The pandemic, people call it. This was a controlled movement by the Democrats to make sure that Trump doesn't get reelected. This is a world government move. Whatever the conspiracy theory is, it's getting credence because there's so much conflicting information. So, Fauci, pull your head out, quit saying stupid stuff, or get on the same page as the CDC and the HOW. That's it. Like I said, not my normal video, but I'm just tired of this stuff, and I'm tired of having to make a reservation to go to my gym. So, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I'm trying to do random stuff, not so much just one or two kind of topics, but I'm trying to broaden my appeal. Let me know what you think, and until next time, thanks for listening.